Bullshit.
The No BS Marketing Show is brought to you by Laramore's men's and women's designer clothing. Free shipping, free returns. Shop men's and women's designer clothing, shoes, accessories, jewelry, and more online at laramores.com or in-store downtown Pittsburgh. Hey, No BSers, it's Dave. Hope you're well. Reaching out to you today to get your perspectives on some things using a Twitter poll as well. And here's why. I've been hearing a lot from people about the show, guests, Mass Solutions team members, clients, strategic partners, listeners, students of mine, and so forth, providing me good feedback about the show. And it's brought me to the point where I've heard some people say how much they love the Cut the BS rant at the beginning of the show. They hit the bullseye target market segmentation beginning of episode 2 when I have a guest. And then others who've talked about how much they really enjoy when I just do an entire show where I do a deep dive into a topic. What I'm looking to find out from you all is what you like the most about the show and which direction to go. So the Twitter poll is pretty basic at Dave Mastovich, where I say, podcast listeners, do you enjoy more guests or no guests? My take is this. I love interviewing people and listening to their stories. I think there's value in their stories. In the first year of the podcast, we were 95% guest-based. When I started the show out, that's what I decided. I wanted to have a guest-based show, and the first year went great. But then as we got into the second year, I started to do more of the standalone podcasts, partly because I had things I wanted to talk about, and partly because it is a battle and a chore to book the guests, get them in here to the studio, record that, and do all that to post it together and get it done. And we've done some by Skype. But the reality is, I don't think that a show like mine can be the all guest-based show like some of the ones that people that are primarily podcasters. And I know that John Lee Dumas and Entrepreneur on Fire and his Podcaster's Paradise has been helpful to me quite a bit. 3 years ago, I reached out to John and started working with him on Podcaster's Paradise, learning about things from him and Kate Erickson. And he does his taping in one day and tapes all those shows. And when he started out, that was his entire business. And now it's still a big piece of his business. Here at Mass Solutions, the model is this. The company's been in existence 13 years. We have a strong team of senior level creative marketing thinkers and implementers. So part of my role is to lead the team. Part of my role is to manage the team and processes and budgets. Part of my role is to think strategically of where we want to go and convey our why to the customer's why and our why and turn it into a big idea that everybody at the company understands. Part of my job is recruitment of new team members, and part of it's content creation. So one piece of my role here at Mass Solutions is to be the content creator for a lot of our content and to be a thought leader. And that's why you see me speaking across the country, doing keynotes or doing 3-hour workshops to C-suite executives and entrepreneurs. My blog has been picked up by over 55, already closer to 60 media outlets over the years. I'm quoted in magazines and so forth. So that's a piece of what I do. But you already heard there's all that other work. Plus, when it comes to major client work, I'm part of the team that comes together to create the big ideas, the slogans, the messaging recommendations, the marketing recommendations. Why did I babble about all that? Because that impacts how much time we have to go and do the guest-based show. And so I'm looking to you to tell me what you think about whether we should go guests or no guests or some kind of mixture. The guest aspect is something that I think plays to my strength because I enjoy it and I'm so passionate about interviewing others. So I want to continue the guests to some degree, but I want to make sure I get guests that are better suited for what our listeners are. And we have all kinds of different listeners. Our C-suite listeners tend to like the guests that they can relate to that are other C-suite people. We have a big portion of our audience is people that are 20-somethings out of school or starting out, or even juniors and seniors in college early in their career. I think they can benefit from some of the guests too. And then we have pure marketing professionals, PR professionals, creatives who listen to the show. They tend to like the standalone podcast better. So what I'm looking for is for people to give me some feedback, either at Dave Mastovich on Twitter, participate in the poll on Twitter, or dave@masssolutions.biz with an email directly to me to let me know what you think about the guest versus no guest shows and other thoughts you might have about the podcast. Because that's really what we're about here is, remember, I talk a lot about this show being about leadership and communication. And that's really what it's about, bringing those guests on to talk about leadership and communication, or standalone podcasts that focus on leadership and communication. Today, I recorded 2 shows that'll be airing soon, 2 different guest shows. There'll be a total of 4 episodes. We had Jane Werner, the executive director of the Children's Museum of Pittsburgh, had all kinds of amazing things to tell us about the growth in her company and how it's helping children throughout this region and across the country, all across the country, with their traveling exhibits and other vehicles. And then we had the folks from the Yajagoff podcast. Yeah, the Yajagoff brand here in Pittsburgh. And I shouldn't say in Pittsburgh because they have people in Hawaii that are loyal Yajagoff listeners and so forth. And so we had both of the hosts of the show, and they were just fantastic. So those are the kind of guests we get. We've had Shep Hyken, a national customer service guru. We've had all kinds of other people. We've reached out to Philip Kotler, the father of marketing, to try to get him on the show. I know he doesn't do that many appearances, but I'd like to get him so we can get quality caliber guests, but we want to see from you what kind of format you like the most with the No BS Marketing Show. I appreciate family-owned businesses because I know how passionate they are about pleasing their customers. And that's one more reason why I shop at Laramore's, a family-owned upscale store in Pittsburgh that specializes in women's designer clothing, jewelry, and accessories. Consistently ranked by Esquire magazine as one of the top 20 specialty stores in the country for excellence in men's tailored clothing, made-to-measure suits, custom shirts, great sportswear, and accessories. Laramore's, men's and women's designer clothing. Shop online at laramores.com or in-store downtown Pittsburgh. Again, I'm looking for your feedback. You can shoot me a direct email, dave@masssolutions.biz. Hit me on Twitter at Dave Mastovich. We have a Twitter poll as well, guest or no guest. What do you enjoy the most on podcasts in general? And thank you again for being a No BSer and being a part of this platform, which we have so many vehicles now to get the word out there. So appreciate you listening. Would appreciate some more feedback here as well. And we've got a lot of feedback over the past year. Keep it up and keep focusing on the big idea. The No BS Marketing Show, again, is brought to you by Laramore's men's and women's designer clothing. Shop in-store, downtown Pittsburgh, or online at laramores.com. Visit masssolutions.biz for show notes, plus additional marketing and messaging resources. Or you sign up for the No BS Marketing Weekly Update. You'll receive timely, valuable ideas to improve your marketing and transform your message. Again, to sign up, visit masssolutions.biz. Remember, ask yourself, what's the big idea? And build your story around the answer. It's all about bold solutions.